Chapter 25. The End or a New Beginning. In the remote, icy realm of Churchill, Manitoba, where the bitter cold winds howled like the mournful cries of lost souls, Mountain stumbled upon an unexpected treasure, a local enchantress adorned with the lovely moniker of Miss Olivia Weingarten. His favorite part of her name was the Miss at the beginning of it, since everyone else except Mountain in the city of Churchill were armed with more than just golf clubs, including, of course, spouses. Olivia was a radiant presence amidst the frosty landscape. Her laughter was like music in the frigid air, and her chest was so well endowed that it could make even the largest of well-hydrated babies cry out in thirst. Mountain's preliminary encounter with Miss Weingarten was a serendipitous moment, orchestrated by the whims of fate itself. For Olivia's smile was a beacon of warmth in the chilly tavern/casino where they met, with her eyes sparkling like the northern lights that danced across the sky. Mountain was instantly captivated by her aura, drawn to her like a sailor to the sea. And as the two of them ventured out into the frozen wilderness of Churchill together, their journey began to unfold like a tapestry woven from the very threads of destiny. Each moment that Mountain spent in Olivia's company felt like its very own eternity, with both of their laughter echoing through the icy silence of the tundra. Their bond deepened with each and every passing day, as they explored the rugged beauty of their surroundings, with their footsteps side by side, leaving imprints in the pristine snow. They shared stories and secrets beneath the magnificent glow of the aurora borealis, with their hearts intertwining like the branches of a frost-covered tree. But it was during their first real trip together, a fateful train trip to Thompson, the nearest outpost of civilization, that Mountain and Olivia's love truly blossomed. As they rattled along the icy train tracks, the stark landscape passed them by in a blur of white, and they next found themselves drawn to each other with nothing short of an irresistible force. Their relationship was consummated in the restroom upon the slow-moving train, a memory that Mountain would go on to cherish as both gritty and romantic alike. In Thompson, a town as bleak and barren as the frozen wasteland that surrounded it, Mountain and Olivia discovered an oasis, a golf course hidden amidst the desolation. And it was here, upon the patchy greens and wind-battered fairways, that their love truly took root and began to flourish. And as they played round after round, their shared passion for the game of golf became a metaphor for their burgeoning relationship, a journey fraught with challenges and obstacles, yet also filled with moments of sheer joy and exhilaration. As they laughed and teased each other beneath the glare of the northern sun, they knew that they had found something truly special in each other. Their return journey to Churchill was a bittersweet affair, with the memory of their time in Thompson lingering like a sweet melody in the air. And as they gazed out at the frozen landscape passing by outside the train window, they hoped that their love would long endure, strong and unwavering like the ancient glaciers that carved the landscape all around them. Then, after the change of yet another season in the heart of the Arctic wilderness, where the frigid winds whispered secrets of both love and destiny through the icy streets of Churchill, Mountain stood at a pivotal juncture in his life, at a crossroads where the echoes of his past mingled with a promise of his future. With Olivia, his beacon of warmth and hope, by his side, he felt the weight of his complicated past bearing down upon him like the heavy blanket of snow that now cloaked the land for as far as the eye could see. And as the aurora borealis danced overhead, casting its ethereal glow upon the frozen landscape, Mountain sat before Olivia, his heart a tumultuous sea of emotion beneath the vast expanse of the northern sky. The snow, pristine and untouched, bore witness to the gravity of the moment, as Mountain poured forth his hopes and dreams, his fears and aspirations, in a torrent of words that echoed through the cold and silent night. And so, after a long rant and a stiff drink, Mountain finally proposed to Olivia, and with both a trembling hand and a heart full of love. He then reached into his pocket and produced a small velvet box, its contents a symbol of his undying devotion. "Olivia," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the howling wind, "will you marry me and move back to Beanfield with me?" Olivia's eyes widened in surprise, her breath catching in her throat as she beheld a computer printout of the shimmering diamond that Mountain had ordered, but had not yet arrived to their extremely remote location. The folded printout lay nestled within the velvet folds of the box, and as she looked into Mountain's eyes, she saw the depth of his love reflected back at her, a love that, in that very moment, knew no bounds and no obstacles. With tears of joy streaming down her cheeks, Olivia threw her arms around Mountain's neck and whispered, "Yes, Mountain, yes. I will marry you and move back to Beanfield with you." With trembling hands and a voice thick with emotion, Mountain next confessed his longing to return to the world of golf, and to chase the dreams that had once burned brightly within him, and how he desired to set forth to reclaim the glory that had slipped through his fingers like grains of sand. And as he gazed into Olivia's eyes, shimmering as if they were pools of liquid sapphire beneath the pale light of the aurora borealis, he suddenly felt a surge of courage and determination coursing through his veins, propelling him back into the realms of professional golf. Olivia's response was like music to his ears, a symphony of both joy and affirmation that echoed through the frozen landscape, filling Mountain's heart with a warmth like he had never known. With tears of joy streaming down their cheeks, they embraced beneath the swirling illumination of the northern lights, with their love like a shining beacon of hope amidst the icy wilderness that surrounded them. In the days that followed, Mountain continued to pour his heart and soul into completing his memoir, the words flowing from his pen like a river of emotion as he chronicled the epic tale of his life's journey in the world of golf. Each page was both a testament to the strength of his spirit and the depth of his love for golf, a love that had weathered the storms of life and now emerged stronger than ever. Mountain greatly enjoyed penning his memoir, but was not sure if it would ever be commercially viable, since he insisted on telling his story from the perspective of the golf ball against Olivia's better judgment. But nevertheless, Olivia dutifully edited and narrated the book on Mountain's behalf. The memoir, after a plethora of edits, ended up with the following beginning. As I nestled atop the pristine tee, basking in the warmth of the sun's golden rays, I awaited the imminent strike from Mountain's club with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. From my vantage point, I watched as Mountain, a towering figure with an air of determination, approached, his gaze fixed upon the distant green. With a sudden and forceful impact, Mountain sent me hurtling through the air, my journey beginning in a whirlwind of motion and velocity. As I soared across the azure sky, buffeted by the currents of wind, I felt a surge of exhilaration course through my dimpled face. At the apex of my flight, I hung suspended for a fleeting moment, the world below spread out before me like a vast canvas of green and blue. Then, with a swift descent, I plummeted towards the waiting fairway, my trajectory guided only by the skillful hand of my golfer. With a soft thud, I made contact with the lush grass below, the earth beneath me quivering with the force of my impact. From this vantage point, I watched as Mountain strode across the course, with his every movement imbued with both purpose and intent. With each swing of the club, I felt the exhilarating rush of momentum as Mountain unleashed his power upon me. Through twists and turns, hazards and bunkers, we traversed the course together, as a dynamic duo in pursuit of the elusive hole. And as the round progressed, I bore witness to the full spectrum of Mountain's emotions, from moments of frustration, disappointment, and even possibly a hangover, to flashes of triumph and elation. Through it all, I remained steadfast, a silent companion on Mountain's journey through the challenging terrain of the golf course. And when I finally descended into the hole with a satisfying clink, I felt a swell of pride within me, knowing that I had played my small part in Mountain Cap's quest for victory. For in the end, it was not just about the destination, but the exhilarating journey that we had undertaken together, one swing at a time. In the days that followed, as they prepared to leave the frozen wilderness of Churchill behind and embark on the journey together back to Beanfield, Illinois, Mountain felt that he had made the best decision of his entire life, for he truly wanted Olivia by his side forever. And so, hand in hand, they set out into the unknown together, with their hearts filled with hope and anticipation for the future that awaited them on the fairways and greens of the golf course, and in the embrace of their love that knew no bounds. After the progression of several more months, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of both rose and gold, the picturesque landscape of Beanfields seemed to glow with an almost ethereal beauty, providing a fitting backdrop for the momentous occasion unfolding within the quaint chapel nestled among the rolling hills adjacent to shady pines. Mountain now stood at the altar, a mixture of nervous anticipation and unbridled excitement coursing through his veins as he awaited the arrival of his beloved bride-to-be. Flanked by his closest friends and confidants, Austin and Johnny, he could not help but feel a surge of gratitude for their unwavering support, even if it came with a healthy dose of pre-wedding jitters and the occasional ribbing. "So, buddy, are you sure that you are ready to take the big plunge?" Austin quipped, with his trademark grin widening as he clapped Mountain on the back with enough force to nearly send him stumbling. "You sure you're up for a lifetime of wedded bliss and domesticity?" Mountain then chuckled nervously, with his gaze darting to the door of the chapel in anticipation of Olivia's imminent arrival. "Honestly, I have never been more ready for anything in my whole entire life," he replied, his voice filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "But let's just hope I don't trip over my own 2 feet on the way to the altar." Johnny, ever the voice of reason amidst the chaos of wedding preparations, then offered Mountain a reassuring smile as he adjusted his bow tie with practiced precision. "You've got this shit, Mountain," he said, his tone both calming and reassuring. "Besides, if all else fails, we'll be right here to pick you up off the floor." And then, as if on cue, the strains of a familiar melody filled the air, signaling Olivia's grand entrance and prompting a collective hush to fall over the assembled guests. All eyes then turned toward the chapel door, with anticipation hanging thick in the air as the moment they had all been waiting for had finally arrived. And then, after a few moments, Mountain caught a glimpse of her, bathed in the soft glow of candlelight and looking every bit as radiant as a summer sunrise. Olivia floated down the aisle, with her smile lighting up the room and stealing Mountain's breath away with each graceful step that she took. In that moment, time seemed to stand still as they locked eyes with each other, with the rest of the world fading into insignificance as they stood together on the precipice of forever. But just as Mountain prepared to take Olivia's hand in his, and attempted to pass her the whiskey bottle that they previously discussed drinking at the altar, a shot to seal the deal after all, she then stunned him with her words, her voice trembling with emotion as she revealed the unexpected news that would change both of their lives forever. "I can't, Mountain," she whispered, her eyes now sparkling with tears of joy. "I just confirmed that I am now pregnant with a child that will most certainly one day be the world's greatest drinker, or golfer, or both." Mountain then glanced quickly at his parents, Earl and Florence, in efforts to seek their silent agreement to help in raising the child, and was able to sense that they concurred. The chapel then erupted in a cacophony of cheers and laughter, with the joyous sounds reverberating off the walls and filling the air with an electric energy that seemed to crackle with anticipation for a wedding reception that was sure to be a party for the ages. Even Jebediah Turnpike, the stoic owner of Shady Pines, could not resist the infectious spirit of the moment, with his gruff exterior melting away in the warmth of the collective happiness around him. A few hours later, much to Mountain and Johnny's amazement, Jebediah even showed up at the underground golf cave for the after-party and stayed for a few drinks, but of course did not partake in any smoky delights. As the celebration wore on and the festivities continued, the wedding party then all danced the Beanfield Shuffle, their laughter mingling with the bluegrass-covered death metal music that Mountain had selected as they celebrated the union of these two souls that were destined to be together. And as the entire male half of the wedding party tore, the sleeves off their tuxedos before passing around a simply massive joint in a display of camaraderie, they knew that no matter what the future held, that this couple would face it together, hand in hand. In the end.